Have you ever considered how faith can be a shield, a fortress, and a refuge in times of uncertainty and danger? It's a thought that resonates deeply with the essence of Psalm 91. This particular psalm is a testament to the divine protection and assurance that faith can provide. It's a beacon of hope, a song of unwavering belief, a prayer of trust in the Almighty's omnipresence. In the heart of this psalm, faith is not merely a concept, but a key component, a driving force that stands tall against the adversities of life. It's the anchor that keeps us grounded when storms rage around us, the light that guides us through the darkest tunnels. And in today's world, where uncertainty seems to be the only constant, such faith becomes more relevant and precious than ever. So, let's delve deeper into the verses of Psalm 91 to understand its profound message. Psalm 91 begins with an assertion of faith and trust in God's protection. Delving into the first two verses of this psalm, we find a rich tapestry of imagery and symbols. In these opening lines, the psalmist declares, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." The words Most High and Almighty are not random choices. They are deliberate and potent representations of God's supreme power. The term Most High signifies that there is no power above or beyond God. It is a recognition that God is the highest authority, the ultimate ruler over all creation. On the other hand, Almighty is a term that speaks volumes about God's omnipotence, His unlimited power, and His ability to accomplish anything He wills. The psalmist does not stop there. He further paints a picture of God as a refuge and a fortress. A refuge is a place of safety, a sanctuary where one can retreat from danger and find shelter. A fortress, on the other hand, is a stronghold, a fortified place designed to resist attack. The psalmist is saying that God is not only a place of safety, but also a strong defense against all threats. Verse 2 echoes this sentiment as the psalmist proclaims his trust in God, stating, "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust." This is not a passive declaration. It is a bold, active proclamation of faith, a decision to trust in God as the ultimate protector. The psalmist's words are not mere words. They are a reflection of a profound belief in God's protective power. They are an invitation for us to dwell in the shelter of the Most High and rest in the shadow of the Almighty, to find our refuge and fortress in God. Truly, these verses are a powerful declaration of faith and trust in God's protection. The next set of verses in Psalm 91 offers vivid imagery of God's protection. As we delve into verses 3 through 8, we encounter strong metaphors that underscore the protective nature of God. Verse 3 begins with the promise that God will surely save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. A fowler's snare is a trap set for birds, symbolizing the hidden dangers we encounter in life. The deadly pestilence represents widespread diseases, or indeed any form of destruction that poses a threat to our well-being. It's fascinating how the psalmist uses the imagery of a bird to emphasize God's protection. Verse 4 says, "He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge." This metaphor brings to mind the image of a mother bird sheltering her young from harm. It's a comforting image, depicting God as our refuge and fortress. The psalmist continues this theme of divine protection in the face of fear in verse 5. "You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day." Here the psalmist assures us that with God's protection, we have no need to fear any form of danger, whether it lurks in the darkness of night or strikes in the broad daylight. Verse 6 speaks of the pestilence that stalks in the darkness and the plague that destroys at midday. These are metaphors for the unseen and unexpected dangers in life. However, the psalmist reassures us that with God's protection, these dangers will not harm us. Verses 7 and 8 sum up the theme of divine protection. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. These verses drive home the message that even in the midst of widespread destruction, those who dwell in God's shelter are safe. In these verses, we see the assurance of God's protection, no matter the dangers we face. Verses 9 to 13 of Psalm 91 continue to amplify the theme of divine protection. As we delve into these verses, we uncover the conditions and promises that are beautifully intertwined. The verses start by establishing a profound condition. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your dwelling. This condition sets the stage for the promises that follow. It's a gentle reminder that our words and actions must align in declaring the Lord as our refuge, our dwelling place. The verses then unfold into a series of promises. The first of these is the pledge of immunity from harm and disaster. This promise, however, is not to be taken literally. It is not a guarantee against physical harm or life's hardships. Instead, it is an assurance of spiritual safety and the ultimate triumph over evil. Next, we come across the imagery of the lion and the serpent. These two creatures often symbolize formidable forces of evil in biblical literature. The lion, with its fierce and predatory nature, represents overt, aggressive threats. The serpent, on the other hand, symbolizes subtle, deceptive dangers. The promise here, to tread upon the lion and the serpent, symbolizes the believer's ability, through God's grace, to overcome both blatant and hidden forms of evil. Lastly, we encounter the role of angels in these verses. Angels are depicted as God's messengers and protectors, entrusted with the mission of guarding those who trust in the Lord. They lift us up so we do not stumble, reinforcing the theme of divine protection. In essence, these verses paint a vivid picture of God's unyielding protection, His ability to shield us from visible and invisible threats, and His deployment of angels to guard us. They emphasize that a believer's trust in the Lord activates divine protection, promising victory over spiritual adversaries. These verses are a testament to God's unyielding protection and care for those who trust in Him. The final verses of Psalm 91 are a powerful conclusion to this psalm of protection. As we delve into verses 14 to 16, we encounter a shift in tone. Here God Himself is speaking, responding to the profound faith of the speaker. It's a conversation, an intimate dialogue that illustrates the relationship between God and His faithful followers. The Lord says, "Because He loves me, I will deliver him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name." This is a promise of deliverance and protection. It's not merely about acknowledging God's existence, but recognizing His sovereignty and expressing a deep, abiding love for Him. In return, God promises to rescue and safeguard those who love Him. In verse 15, we see a promise of answered prayers. "He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him." Here, God assures us that He hears our cries for help. He promises His presence in times of trouble, His rescue when we're ensnared, and His honor to lift us up. Moving on to the final verse, "With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation." This verse is a promise of longevity and salvation. It's not merely about length of days, but a life satisfied by God's blessings, a life where God's salvation is evident. These final verses of Psalm 91 are not just promises, they're covenants. God, in His divine majesty, is making a commitment to those who love Him, acknowledge Him, and call upon Him. It's a powerful testament to the rewards of unwavering faith. In these last verses, we see the culmination of the Psalm's message. Unwavering faith in God yields divine protection and rewards. The psalmist's faith is rewarded with divine protection, deliverance, honor, long life, and the ultimate gift, salvation. It's a beautiful reminder that when we place our trust in the Most High, we are never alone, never unprotected, never unloved. Psalm 91, in its entirety, is a profound message of faith and divine protection. It begins with a call to reside in the shelter of the Most High, a metaphorical expression of unwavering faith. This psalm then continues to explore the divine protection that such faith brings, promising deliverance from deadly diseases and the terrors of the night. The middle verses expand on this promise, offering images of angelic guardians and triumph over adversity. The psalm reaches its crescendo in the final verses, where God Himself speaks, promising rewards for those who love Him, know His name, and call upon Him. Throughout this psalm, the recurring themes of faith, trust in God, divine protection, and the rewards of such faith are evident. It reassures us of God's constant presence and protection, even when we face the most daunting challenges. May we all find solace and strength in the powerful message of Psalm 91, especially in times of uncertainty and fear.